So replacing family curses with God's blessing. You may have heard things in your family, for example, like you'll never amount to anything. Or there may just have been neglect, feeling uncared for. There may have been blessings, feeling totally loved and secure. So a very cool thing to do is first ask God to reveal to you those blessings at significant times in your life. And receive those in the name of Jesus. And if someone's praying over you, it's just really awesome time to have those blessings prayed over you. And, you might think, well, I'm already operating in those. But it's interesting the sense of additional empowerment that comes as you just ask God to release those in fullness in your life. And then there's the times that didn't feel blessed. They either feel just a lack or it feels like a curse. And those significant times in your life. And so what you want to ask God to do is to replace those with a blessing, to take those away. They may be as far back as when you were conceived. They may be something, there could have been a trauma that happened when you were in the womb. I read a Times or Newsweek article a few years back that there's actually a chemical that goes through the woman's bloodstream when she is rejecting the baby, and that goes into the baby. So there's influences very early on, and so you want to pray through those and ask God to put blessing in there. And I won't go into that more, but also praying a prayer of blessing on your parents, on your children, parents if they're still alive. So receiving blessings and curses replaced with blessings. That would be the two keys. So if you're thinking about that item, those would be the two things. Okay, basic steps in praying through emotional wounds. And you find these very similar to the 5 steps, but fleshed out in the middle is this feelings, the memory, the false beliefs. And with the emotional wounds, a significant emphasis on false beliefs. What did we misperceive? What part of God's reality are we not yet seeing? Why is this memory unresolved and not peaceful? Let's say it was horrible. Okay, it's still a horrible thing happened, but where was God and what does He want to do? He may carry the shame. If there is shame, that's what He wants to do with it. Those who look to Him are radiant. Their faces will never be covered with shame. There may be other things that He wants to do. So you're going after connecting with the feelings, the memory, the false beliefs. And we talked about that in the general steps, so I won't go over it a whole lot here. But to say that you're going after those false beliefs. What is it that's going on? And what are the emotions connected to them? What's God's perspective? Okay, so this is just a little picture on that one about emotional wounds. Let's say it hit that dark place. And so you've got your feelings, your memory, your false beliefs. You're receiving God's perspective and applying it. It's the little guy with his hands in the air. Back to joy. Some people have never felt joy, so it might not be back to as much as into. Keys for anger. We talked about this already, so I won't go over that more right now, but these are 4 major categories that may feed anger. And I can't count the number of people that, that when you say this, they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I could work on that one. And we're not even praying, we're just talking. And even more during the prayer, it's a softer place, is my best understanding. Trauma, and there's many things involved in trauma. I'm not even going to try to go into all of them, but 3 keys are working through each event in the trauma. It tends to have a series of events that aren't peaceful. Asking God to carry the whole burden of the trauma. It's a burden that people tend to carry. And bind and cast out any evil connected to the trauma. You know, the devil likes to take advantage of our vulnerable places, looking for that foothold. And traumas are vulnerable places. They're places where safety no longer is there. They're places where there's things to grieve, like the loss of safety, for starters, loss of security. There's a lot of fear generally involved. There's often forgiveness that needs to happen. There's a lot of stuff that can be involved. There may be vows, how to protect yourself, other implications. But those you want to look for as well along the way. It's not that you don't, but they tend to come along the way and through those events in the trauma. But you want to be aware of those.